Runaway robot.
Welcome to DieFall, the Aspects episode of potentially 44. We're guessing here. Relish just let us know that the number 4 is unlucky in Japan because it means death. Is that right? Did I?
The
So
way you
double
say the number 4 is the same as the word for death.
I'm killing your guys' audio because apparently, when I set stuff up yesterday, everything was way too heckin' loud. So one moment, please. All right, talk for me now. There we go. We should be okay now.
We good?
Okay, how's
Everything
that?
good in the hood?
Yeah, I think we're okay.
Good.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Whoops. All right, we're good. Welcome to episode 44. Yeah, so Rel, if you don't mind continuing your explanation for that. Sorry, I had to interrupt you there.
The word for 4 in Japan, which is pronounced shi, is the same as the word for death.
Nice.
Good
That
omens.
is
Good omens.
That is why a lot of
I'm
Japanese
excited.
people will use the alternate the alternate word for 4, which is yon.
Now, is
Huh.
it she because when somebody dies, they scream, "Oh shit!" But all they can get out is she, and then they die.
I love that. That's
If
even
only.
that's even better.
Thank you.
If
Thank
only.
you.
That would be pretty hardcore, but
That would be amazing. Jeez.
Pretty-
All right,
pretty
cool.
dope.
Welcome everybody to episode Shishi, otherwise known as Death.
that's
The season finale
that's
for
she,
season
she.
3. The season finale for season 3 of DieFall, the Aspects here. We're starting early. We're going 2 hours extra today because there's potentially some stuff that's going to happen, and we'll see how it goes. Welcome everyone. Let's go around the horn as we usually do and see how everyone's last week has been. Mr. Bonus Stage Rob, how have you been, buddy? What's been going on?
You know, I've been good. I've been preparing the quite possibly the smallest room in the entire apartment besides the kitchen to have studio lights in it, which is neat. But I guess I don't need a backlight because that's how much the light reflects off of the walls.
Yeah, you actually have a lot of light in there right now.
I
Yeah,
sure
you look
do.
great.
I'm looking at a light right there. I'm looking at a light right there. This thing's hanging over my head, not doing anything right now.
Not doing anything.
All in preparation. I got the camera on a tripod. It's like I'm on my own little talk show. Look at me go.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of lights.
Speaking of lights, let me turn one
Yeah,
on.
let me turn that back on.
Let me exist.
Whoops.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, no, I've just been rearranging the apartment and making things a little more neater, a little more streamlined for streaming. Unintentional
Good.
pun there, I think. I don't know. Whatever.
It's intentional. It's fine.
Yeah, it's always intentional. But yeah, so this new setup, which you can't see because I look the same, is for something that'll be happening on my channel at 7:00 tonight that I'm trying out. So we'll see how that goes.
Should be interesting.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I hope I don't break
We'll see how
everything.
it goes. Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Cool. All right, Rel, how's your last week been, bud? What have you been up to?
been pretty good. I can't even remember what I did in gaming. Oh yeah, I got Layered Draken in Monster Hunter World. And if anybody, you guys have, oh my
I wish
God,
I
I was
knew what
about
that
to
meant.
ask. And if anybody out here, like the people who
checking.
fucking play Monster Hunter,
Checking.
don't know what
What
that
is it?
means.
I can't find it. We're fine.
You made it up.
I've actually had the
So-
strongest urge to play it this week.
You know
You
what?
should, 'cause I bought it for you.
will-
Yeah,
Wait, PC, Xbox, or PlayStation 4? Because I will run you through some quests, man.
Tom has it on PC, right?
I'm
We
on
played
PC,
it together.
yeah.
Yes. All right, let's do some shit. Anyway, there was a collab between Monster Hunter, Capcom, and Final Fantasy, and they put Behemoth into the game. And Behemoth is, you know, I've ranted about him before. Everyone says he's the hardest monster. He's not. He's just mechanics heavy. In order to get, and you know, you kill him, you get the parts for the Draken armor. which is pretty good by itself. But then if you want the layered stuff, you have to kill Tempered Behemoth, which is actually fucking hard.
What's layered mean?
Layered means that it goes over your armor, and it doesn't matter what you're wearing, you just see the layered armor. So basically, you can look like a cool guy, even though your actual armor looks like a clown suit.
Okay.
It's actually you turn into Shrek because ogres have layers.
Just like onions.
Onion boy.
Onion costume.
Layers.
Yeah.
Become the onion knight
Here.
in Dark Souls.
I'm actually gonna real quick link this in chat, because it's pretty cool.
You're pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this in the stream as
You're
well.
pretty cool.
But yeah, killing
okay.
Extreme Behemoth is super tough because, you know, he has instant kill moves. He does everything faster. You can't just flash pod your way out of his various mechanics. Like, it's actually a challenge. It is the hardest thing in the game currently.
Nice.
And I
cool.
beat him. I got the layered armor set. I get to look like a cool guy no matter what my actual armor is. And that's kind of it for Monster Hunter right now.
Cool. Cool, man. I'm glad you got to do it.
That is, by the
Professor-
way, there's one quick thing. Y'all need to come back into the game soon because they're adding Arch-Tempered Great Jagras.
Oh, I saw him. He's a big bellied boy.
He's a big
He
boy.
has a huge belly.
He's got a huge belly full of jewels.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
Oh, I'm
So
interested.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The problem
Okay,
is he
cool.
also hits like an Arch-Tempered, so if you've got low rank armor, you basically get
Well,
fucked.
we're probably screwed,
That's
but
me.
that's fine.
Challenge.
Yeah,
I'm,
that's
good at,
probably
I'm good at dodging.
That's fine. It would have been fine, right? Professor Sacrum,
That's me.
how you been, bud?
I'm
What's
doing.
going on?
I'm doing
How are
great,
you?
man. I'm doing great. I've been playing some Stardew Valley. Been playing some Breath of the Wild. Saw Spider-Verse for the second time. Like,
God, that's a good movie.
it was such a good movie. It's like inspiring. And I bought my first pair of Dungeons and Dragons dice.
Pair or set?
A set.
just
I
two die.
Yeah, well,
I got 'em.
I mean, you say 2 die because I pulled out 2 die just to show
Oh,
them off. But
there you go.
yeah, I got a little set.
Awesome, man.
They were
Awesome.
like $12, and I was like, sure, why not? Because I've always wanted a pair, or a set. So I grabbed those, and I've been looking into making different character builds and just like doing weird D&D things over the week.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
I just realized I forgot my coffee downstairs. I'm gonna go get it because it's gonna be a while we're up here. So hang on a sec.
So
Entertain everyone.
unprofessional.
I mean, if you wanna talk shit about me, go for it. I gotta get it.
Guys,
He is so
guys, no, guys. Fucking really though, like
I'm a liar. It wasn't even downstairs.
I'm not okay
It was
with
on my
that.
banister. Frick.
I'm not okay with how handsome he is.
It was much closer than I
He just
expected.
makes the rest of us look bad. Because
Yo, wait, what?
He's just too handsome. Fuck Joel!
Here.
Dude!
Hey, man.
Welcome.
Hey,
We were
hey,
just saying how much we appreciate you.
what?
I mean,
What did I do? What did I do? All right, cool. I'm back. It was actually like literally right there. I apparently just missed
Cool.
it on the way in. So,
off to a great start.
anyways, what's the weird D&D stuff you're looking at?
So I've been making a bunch of characters, mainly looking at, because of your game on Mondays with Ravnica, I've been looking into the races over there, and I built a Minotaur monk, which actually works really well because everything that he does hits with 1d6 damage at level 5, and he's basically at max damage with the rolls I did, just to see if how to do it.
He a big punchy boy.
He
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
punchy uses his horns. It's fantastic. And then also I was looking into the Zelda homebrew for D&D because I might try to do a one shot
How-
at some point.
How does that work? Like, does everyone play Link?
No, they're the different races within the Zelda universe that you can play as. So like the Zora, a Goron, the Korok.
Dude,
Rico.
I would be a Zora so fast. Can you throw your like little things?
I think
like-
so. They're like
Oh,
you have to
yeah.
look into the homebrew, but every race has its own special abilities of things that they can do.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Burrito can fly.
Okay.
The Deku scrubs can shoot like seeds.
You could be a scrub.
Yeah, you could be a Deku
I'm so
scrub.
ready.
That's
I want
so,
It's so
cool. I love it.
I was
love
looking
it.
into it. I was like, this is awesome.
Awesome, man. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Great. Hey, Tom.
Hi.
How you been, bud? What's going on?
Yeah, I've been good. I had a fun week, just like regular stuff. Did some tournaments and did some Paladin streams on my channel.
Nice.
Also played some hard games this week, which took me by surprise.
What'd you play?
So I had my first dipping my toe into an ultra hardcore RPG. Having never been a fan of like playing like Dark Souls and games like that, I don't really like the universes that they're in. Like, it's not my kind of thing. So I found this game through one of my like partner programmy things called Immortal Unchained, which is like a sci-fi ultra hardcore third person RPG. And yeah, I kind of had it in my library for a few weeks, and then I forget when it was. One night this week, I decided just to throw it up at the end of a stream for a couple of hours, and was actually like shocked at how hard those games are. It's like,
Nice.
When they use the word ultra hardcore, it's like, okay, yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah, no, they meant it. Turns out,
like the sheer number of enemies, and then the sheer amount of different attacks you have to learn, and the sheer amount of dodging you have to get involved with. It's like, my brain is hurting after an hour of this game, but it was actually really good fun. So
nice, man.
I'm gonna play it through some more. I don't know if I'll stream it more. My streams tend to die when I play that kind of stuff because nobody came for that kind of stuff, and I don't really want to invest the time to like build up an audience just for those rare occasions that I will play those games.
Sure.
It sounds like a bit of a sellout, but I use those kind of games like for the revenue sharing that I get from them. So I tend to do like a showcase of a game on my stream.
Hey, man.
Like,
sell out if you need to sell out. I mean,
it's
whatever, man.
I work like 2 days a week, and the only money I get to actually improve my streams is that kind of money. So
sure,
I make little bits here and there, and then I invest it straight back in the stream. So, but yeah, sometimes I find some. I found another like XCOM-y style game this week. Unfortunately, it's not really very polished, especially from a graphical perspective. But it had some interesting mechanics in that sense. So I might like showcase that at some time.
I'm interested. You said XCOM, so I'm interested.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Cool, man. Great. I think we should mention this right now. So if you guys were there for the DM prep stream, you saw that Tom and I had decided that he was going to take some partials on some previous goals so he could tick level 6 instead of waiting on the goals for their full value. So Hathol is currently level 6, and in case you missed it, he crit failed his health roll, so he got 2 HP for the health at level 6, but he also has some extra spells and things like that right now. So that being said, let's talk about some goals. So I know this is the season finale, but your goals are still important, and let's see what we can do here today and what happens. So your group goals, the first one here is do something to prevent hobgoblin control of the city. The city, it means, I assume, the elemental and the wandering Adis. So yeah, do you want to keep that one, or is that good still, or?
Pretty much.
Okay. Party overcomes the needs of self and puts party above any other goal. Unifying cause. I think we're still working for that. And that wrench Erdrick from Heat of Unroll's grasp. That's a thing that we'll probably get into next season. Okay. Ignis.
Yep.
Rexy survives first combat test. That is yet to have happened. Mm-hmm. Return to Earl Reese War Camp with Tassir alive. Mm-hmm. Escape Adis with entire party and Tassir alive. All of those are still good?
Yep.
Okay. Miara, craft a high-quality dagger for Tassir. Familiarize yourself with desert terrain. And teach Tassir to defend herself in a combat situation. 2 of those I think you've done, right? We didn't necessarily craft the dagger, right? But you did do a little bit with it.
We got a little bit,
yeah, so go ahead and take actually, how close are you to 6? Did we have talked 6?
No, I'm not touching 6. I've got like 900 experience, I think, that I need to hit still.
Yeah, 2 mediums gives you that, though.
Does it? All right.
Yeah. So, craft a high-quality dagger for Tassir. 500 experience.
Dope.
Okay. To teach Tassir to defend herself in a combat situation. 500 experience.
Hey!
So it turns out Miara is also level 6.
So
So that's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, so your next long rest, you'll do level 6, and we'll do a little HP roll and stuff for you as well.
Let's do it.
Take a look at what your level 6s are, because I'm probably not gonna have time to take a look at it for you.
Yeah, I believe it's only favorite terrain and preferred
Are you
enemy.
still picking desert?
See, because I know we're gonna be here for probably this episode, and that's it.
We ain't never coming back.
Ever.
Hold on, I have a quick question.
Sure.
In our world, are there other deserts in our continent other than the Waste?
This is the one you know of.
This is the only one we know of, though.
That you know of.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything south of the spine tends to be either forested grassland, hills, there's swamps, and then the true southlands are like coastal cities and stuff like that.
Do I go with the metagame or do I go for the you know what, I'll do forests, I think. I'll do forest terrain.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you leave the desert terrain, you're going to take less experience for your familiarization.
Yeah.
Because you're not taking the favored, but you still will get experience for that. So that's currently you have 2 open slots.
Yeah.
Have you thought about some goals?
Well, I thought about at least I think one of them is to let's see, and I had it written down. In an emergency situation, guarantee Tasir gets away safely. So if things are going awry or things are just going terribly, she needs to be able to get away.
Ensure Tasir survives/escapes.
Yes.
That makes sense. Okay.
What do I have right now? So you said I had 2 slots.
Yep.
Can we come back to me?
Yeah, okay. Darien, you have familiarized yourself with desert terrain. Currently working on that still as you guys spend more time here. Teach Tasir to defend herself in a combat situation. Hey, look at that. You did that. Take 500 experience.
Yeah.
The last one you have is prevent null genocide. It's a lofty goal, but hey, you know, I gotta respect it. So,
Golly, sure am trying.
yep. You got an open slot here, bud. What do you want to do?
I think I want to ensure. See, I thought about this, but I'm kind of second guessing it now. Can you also come back to me?
All right, Hathol. Ensure Ital does not retain control of the artifact in work. You turned in the other 2, which was learn about your new connection and learn about the aspects or history of the aspects in politics. And you told me that that probably is going to integrate itself with more of Hathol's new way of thinking.
Yeah.
So it becomes more of a personality trait than anything else.
Yes.
Okay, so you have 2 open slots as well.
So this is the thing, and I kind of intended on like, can we just like close out this season with all goals achieved, and then have
You don't have to take them.
3 new ones when we start up next time. Like
Sure.
I don't want to pick goals like right at this point
Okay.
just to see through this episode when like we can have a fresh start in a few weeks time or whenever it's going to be.
Sounds good to me.
And,
You can leave it empty
yeah.
and just keep ensure Ital does not retain control of the artifact. That is your primary mission.
That
All right,
is
cool.
my primary mission right now. Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to take goals. They're just there for you to like help you decide how you're going to play today.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go back to Miara.
Yes.
Do you want to take any other goals here?
Not right now. No.
Okay. Darien.
So I like where Tom's going. So I'm not going to take my 3rd goal, but I'd like to change the genocide one.
Okay.
To just don't leave Adis giving the hobgoblins the means to accomplish something like that. I can't do anything to prevent what they do after we leave the desert, but I don't want to leave here
Don't leave Adis
giving them
without
the tool to do things. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm trying to think about how to word this in a
Yeah.
goal situation. don't leave Adis without working to prevent null genocide. It's a little bit more of a softball goal, right? Like if we do it that way. But your goal is you want to work towards it. If it doesn't work out, you still tried.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I think that works. Okay. Ignis, you're still good with yours and all that jazz?
Yep.
Okay. I think, great. Let me make sure I'm on the right screen for this stuff. I don't even know which one I need to be on. I think it's this one. Okay. So we come down into our show, the aspects, and I think where we left off, you guys were at the entry tunnel with all of the two stones coming into the city of Adis, up this like large scaffolding structure that they had constructed over the last couple days. So it's like the entire sept of two stones is now entering Adis. You see like women and children and camels and goods and just like the entire sept has made their way here over the last, like 5 days or so. You've also watched the druids speak to the city of Adis, right? This giant elemental of earth, rock, and mountains, and they seem to be able to communicate with it in some way. But we kind of left you guys off at the front there, trying to decide what you're going to do. Obviously, you're getting some weird looks. There's a weird Tyrannosaurus-looking creature kind of sitting outside the cave area, and there's all of these, tiny children hobgoblin that like go and look and stare up at Rexy and point and speak in hushed tones and hobgoblin, and like Rexy just kind of like does its sentinel thing and stares down at them. So yeah, you guys are like in this cave, and Hathol is just like popped out of his reverie, right? Because he's been a little bit catatonic while he had Errol go listen in on the conversation being had between the city of Adis and one of the druids. So what would you guys like to do?
Did anybody grab some of the rope from last week? I know our lovely DM suddenly told us there was like a wagon full of nothing but rope.
I went back and I went back and listened. You guys were like, "Man, we need some more rope." And I was like, and at that point in time, you see a camel just laden with rope. All it is rope, just walking into the city. So no, you haven't gotten any of it yet, but it looks like the two stones have brought rope. So you're more than welcome to go get some rope.
We're gonna steal some of this rope, guys.
You can pay for it, but yeah, you can steal some rope.
We don't have to steal everything, guys.
I have money.
Something about being good characters. I don't know, man. Do what you need to do.
Season finale, let's go, baby.
Season 4, The Rise of the Murder Hobos.
Oh God.
I'm just waiting for
yeah.
that.
50 feet of hemp rope, which is what looks like was being carried, is 1 gold piece. So if you really want to go, I mean, you can get silk rope, which weighs half as much for 10 gold pieces.
You're gonna want something hefty for your dumb dinosaur. Thing's made of metal.
It's made of something.
That thing is huge.
Well, I have 62 gold to buy.
No, don't. Just I'll take care of it. All right. How much rope can I actually get? Can I only get the 50, or can I just buy more?
You can buy. You can be like, man, I want this length of 50. I want this length. I want like you can get as much as you can carry.
Oh heck yeah!
Remember, this camel is made of rope, so you can get as much as you'd like.
Take the camel.
I will take 3 humps worth, sir.
Okay, so you watch this, and you watch as this camel full of rope comes past, and Ignis, having the grand idea that, oh my god, I have to get Rexy off this thing, we're gonna need some rope, chases down the hobgoblin that's leading this camel along, and do you flag him down?
Yeah, I'm just saying, excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
Seems to be an older gentleman, has like a nice Fu Manchu going on, long and white. And he turns around and you see he's wrinkled but he has really large, almost like bat-like ears compared to a lot of the other hobgoblins. And he kind of looks at you and smiles a little bit, and you see that like one of his major fangs is missing. And he says something in hobgoblin to you, but you're not really sure what it is.
I'd like to purchase some rope, and I'll get out. Actually, you know what? I'll wait and see if he understands me.
He like cocks his head to the side and squints at you a little bit, and then again says something in Hobgoblin.
All right, now I'll pull out the like one of the 2-foot lengths of rope that I still have left, and like point to that, and then point to the rope that he has, and then pull out a few gold pieces.
And he like nods and he looks at you and says something again in Hobgoblin.
Then I'll look back, and is Hathol still in a trance?
As far as I know, Hathol's popped out, but you've just now run off without your party, so you're maybe like
Hathol, you probably should
Ignas
go after
splits
him.
down
the
the road.
party.
You're like 40 feet down the road because you have this idea and you're like, oh god, I gotta go get that guy.
Darien, you shouldn't be letting him interact with hobgoblins unsupervised, okay?
I
Just
got a contingency plan. We're good. It's fine.
It's fine. It's not optimal, but it's fine.
So Hathol, do you see him having a struggle here? Do you go help him?
Yeah.
or-
I'll saunter over. I'll lend a hand.
And he looks up at you and goes, ah, Hathol. This little one here seems to like rope.
Yeah.
I don't know where a child got so much gold from.
He's a very wealthy child, and he has some strange
Wealthy
desires.
I see it's
Are
shit on
you
Ignis
caring
Day.
for this little one here?
No, I have absolutely no responsibility for the little one at all.
Well, he seems to want something. Can you ask him?
Yeah, he wants to buy some rope from you, old friend.
Oh, well, I have plenty of rope here. And he like gestures over with like his gnarled hand and just like over at all the rope on the thing.
Ignis, how much do you want?
Give me 50 lengths. 5 lengths of 50.
Oh,
5
wait.
lengths. I don't even know the counter for this.
Do you tell him that? Hathol,
Yeah, I'll
you let him know.
translate that. Yeah.
150.
And he like strokes his Fu Manchu a couple times and goes, well, I think that's about 10 gold.
10 for... Oh my god. You know what? Fine. It's highway robbery, but we're in a bind. Here.
You hand him 10 gold, and he
Yep.
like holds out. It's like this like really arthritic hand, and he like takes the gold and looks at it and like bites a piece of it, and then he like shoves it into his coat, like his like a little pouch, and then he goes, and he starts grabbing off lengths of rope for you. So you now have 5. Would you say 550 length ropes?
Yeah, so 250 feet worth of rope.
There you go. There you go. You have that, and he chuckles to himself and just walks and saunters away with his camel.
By the way, that old man's a dick because as far as he's concerned, he just ripped off a child.
He did hear that child was wealthy, so maybe he doesn't feel so bad about it.
Still, ripped off a child.
I'm just curious about where all this money comes from. Are the taxpayers of Erdrick paying for your escapades?
Dude, you know how much money we got from that mine that we basically killed our way through?
So we stole and pillaged. All right, just
Pretty much.
just trying to be the moral compass.
No,
here.
we rescued
Normal
him.
hero
Good
things.
party, yeah, good party.
Normal hero things.
Yeah. You don't
Okay,
want to
yeah,
know
so
how
you,
much
you
we have
have
left.
all of this rope now. Like, and like Ignis, he like just piles it up on top of you, so you just have like all of this rope. It probably at full weight is more than what you weigh. This is a struggle for you currently.
How much does rope weigh?
A lot of it.
Probably says. Let's see.
Let's
Hempen
find
rope,
out.
50 feet, 10 pounds. So
Okay.
you have 5 of these, so it's 50 pounds. Yeah, so it's as much as you weigh.
Okay. Yep,
yeah.
that's about right. All right, and I'll just drop it on the floor and then just pick up each length of rope and drop it in the bag of holding.
Yeah, so you start shoving them in and whatever, and people around you look at you because like there's still like this constant stream of these hobgoblins coming into the city, and like some of them stop and point and watch as you like put rope into this infinite space, and it doesn't seem to gain any size, and they start muttering around you. And Hathol, you understand it to be like it's kind of an amazement and fear. This is something they haven't seen before. Additionally, having the like T-Rex thing in the area, they're already fearful
Is that Mary
at that thing that they don't understand. So they kind of like skirt, or so like you guys are almost in the middle of where they're walking down this road, and they start like it's like an ant trail where you put like a rock and they start going wide around it. Yeah, so they start like really avoiding Ignis and his Tyrannosaurus as much as they possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, that can only be a good thing for us anyway.
Yeah.
The more
Hooray,
people that
I'm
avoid Ignis, the
feared.
better.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I so bad want to do this, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't make sense.
By the
in
way,
universe.
Ignis, I can
Yes.
free up a little more space in your bag of holding again, because Hathol suddenly magically realizes that he can actually still use a longsword, so you could give that back to
Turns
me
out-
if you want.
Yeah, turns out
Oh,
he still
sure.
has the ability to do that.
Oh sure, here you go.
Thanks.
All right, Rob. What is that? What flag is? You've done it like 1,000 times. What is it?
Yay! I bought it at medieval times and I love it.
That's awesome. Okay,
It's my
cool.
enjoyment flag. Like, I have room. Yes. I'm sorry.
All
I
right.
need to reel it in.
I
No.
want
That's
it.
good. I like
am
the
very
flag.
hyper. It's earlier.
I like the flag.
I think we're all
I
in
know,
the
right?
mood.
No one's tired yet or drunk, and we just got off the coffee
Well,
train.
I mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you've gotten your lengths of rope. I think where we had decided you guys had done this like in the morning-ish. So let's say it's approaching late morning now. All right. So you guys have like been doing some things and you made this deal. And what do you want to do for today?
Do we want to do the discussion in character about the things that we decided to do out of character,
Sure.
or do we want to just decide, okay, this is what we're gonna do?
I mean, I think that's probably a good idea, so then the audience
I
can then know what we were thinking.
We should roll.
You
through.
are on top of it, sir.
Oh yeah, this is a show.
First and foremost.
No,
All
I
right.
thought about it like when the words were halfway
So-
out of my
so
mouth.
you guys,
Thank
like,
for
you got-
vocalizing.
You guys like head back to like your little tent area or something like that, so you're out of the way of earshot and things. I'm assuming you're not going to just do this in the open.
Oh,
Just in
certainly
case
not.
anyone that
Certainly
walks
not.
by
We're
understands
what do you
comedy.
mean? Not that
We will
could
be
possibly
putting.
go wrong?
We'll be putting on a 3-act play
Okay, perfect,
about our plan.
awesome.
Yeah.
This is going to go real well.
I am the leading
A
lady.
giant performance check collectively to see if
I
anybody
need
actually
collective
realizes we're
performance
really
check.
going to do this.
Jesus. Yeah. Okay. So you guys head back to the tent area. Obvious, like, Ignis, you walk over to Rexy to like go get Rexy, and there's just like hobgoblin children. Just at this point, they're like climbing on it now.
Okay, so can I do a
Rest in
thing
shape.
purely for RP purposes that is not going to have any effect whatsoever?
Is it in character?
For Ignis, probably.
Then it's going to have an effect. What?
I wanted to
Ignis,
enact
your
disco.
your actions have consequences.
I wanted to enact a disco protocol.
I mean, it can do that. Sure. Why not? What does Disco Protocol do?
So, disco protocol. Ignis just shouts, "Rexy, disco protocol," and the the eye holes.
No.
I'm doing this in part just to make Rob do that because it's so funny.
And the eye holes do
The eye
what?
holes light up like Christmas lights, those multicolored Christmas lights, and just switch light colors. And they're like not exactly spotlights. You couldn't really see with them, but they shine lights on the ceiling, and it just blinks in all these different colors, and goes in alternating circles, and then concentric and opposite.
As soon as this
circles.
does Rexy start moving?
If you give a hobgoblin child a seizure, I am leaving you on this city.
We will kick
Yeah,
you
it's-
off of it.
It doesn't
throw
start like
Rexy on you.
dancing, but it's just swaying back and forth like this.
As soon as it starts moving and those lights start going off, they scream and scatter as quickly as possible. Like the parents of the children like come and gather them and like look disapprovingly over at the thing. Some of them panic and ready like some weapons and things like that.
And just to drive it home, that was exactly the reaction I wanted. By the way, I'm going to start dancing the same way.
God.
Yeah, no, like there's like some older hobgoblins and some of the children and like some of the scouts, the hobgoblin scouts, like approach you, spears at the ready, and one of them starts speaking to you. Hathol, you understand this to be like a stand down, like kind of thing. They're
Can
You're
I
probably-
roll?
yeah.
Can I roll performance to get them to dance along?
Me.
yeah, go for it.
Awesome.
I'm
Joel,
waiting for the crypt down you to die.
How close are we to the
A
edge?
9. No, you're not in the edge. You're like so Rexy couldn't go through the cave
Uh-huh.
because there's all these people coming in.
I see.
So he had to remain on the outside. So you guys have like come inside, got the rope and stuff like that, and Rexy's just been waiting there on the side. So yeah, you're inside.
Okay.
So, Ignis, you start dancing with your robot dinosaur. This does not seem to assuage any of the things. You're now surrounded by there's like 2 bows drawn at you. Some of them are approaching you with the javelins. They're surrounding you now.
So Hathol is sensing the disapproval and aggression coming out of the hobgoblins at this point. He looks over. He sees Rexy and Ignis with their tiny little arms flossing to disco music. And he just shouts, Ignis, and then just does like the gesture.
All right, fine. These people are no fun anyway. Rexy, stop disco protocol.
Yeah, so Rexy like stops and just goes back to like watching things, just very predatory bird like they're still approaching you, like out, and they keep there, and they're saying things in Hobgoblin to you. Hathol, you understand it. The one that's speaking to them has a javelin out, and he's got like a couple of like really large like bar piercings in his ears. And he's like looking at Ignis and speaking. He says, "Keep that monstrosity under control."
Yeah, Ignis, they don't like this thing. You better keep Rexy away from the general population.
Can you tell them that it is under control? It's not going to attack anyone. It's perfectly safe.
Yeah, I think the safest option is just keep it away from the general population right now.
Fine. Come on, Rexy.
Just start walking away.
Yeah.
Hathol, have you addressed the hobgoblins at all?
No, not up to this point, but I'll speak to them now. You've
just been talking to each other. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you say while Ignis turns to move away?
He's gonna keep it away from you guys, but just it's not really dangerous. He's just showing off and being stupid.
The one that had spoken like points his javelin out as he turns to you, and he points at Ignis and says, "Keep this little one under control, or there will be trouble."
Yeah, I mean, it's not really within my power to keep him under control, but I'll try and keep him out of your way.
Then I will do it for you next time.
Be my guest.
Oh, talk tough. Now I have a robotic friend.
I'll turn to Darien and say, Darien, this is your job to keep him under control.
I'll turn to Tixir.
I got nothing.
Given up all hope.
I'll turn to Tixir and say, do not follow
if that's in common, I'm just gonna like do a dismissive wave of the hand, like yeah.
Darien
Screw you
says,
guys.
All right.
Go ahead, Darien.
Anyway, I'm heading back to the tent personally.
Yep. Go ahead, Darien.
Oh no, he can head back to the tent. It's fine.
Okay. Oh yeah, I mean, you guys make your way back there again with a wide berth of the other hobgoblin sept that's coming into the city here. They seem to be setting up shop rather quickly, filling the buildings that are crumbled and stuff. It looks like that they've already been organized in some such way, and it seems that some of the older ones have been here before, and they seem to recognize the area and things like that. Can I get a perception check from Miera, please?
Let's do it. 19!
Yeah, you notice that you're being shadowed by about 8 of these hobgoblin scouts at this point.
Can I realize if they're can I tell what that check, like what they're looking for exactly, or?
So they, I mean, from your previous encounter with this, it seems like they're around you, but far enough away that they're not trying to not be seen.
Yeah.
But they're definitely making their presence known in that, like, if more trouble occurs in a similar fashion, they're there to handle whatever it is.
Ignis, are you close by to us still? Like, we're all walking together right now, right?
I presume so.
Yeah.
All right. I'll call to Ignis and say, Ignis, we only have a little bit more time here. We need to keep calm and relax. Otherwise, those guys following us, they're going to kill us.
Well,
and it's not a matter of trying. They outnumber us 100 to 1.
Only 100? Anyway, the intention was just to give the children a little show. I thought they liked Rexy. Apparently, they don't. My feelings aren't hurt or anything.
It's a giant machine that they know nothing about. As far as they knew, it was going to attack. This thing is a monster. It's got razor-sharp teeth. What did you expect would happen?
They might dance along? I don't know. I obviously know nothing about hobgoblins, particularly care. No offense, Hathol.
None taken.
Yeah, so
He's
I mean,
not
you
the
guys make
hobgoblin.
it back to the tent, and you're kind of like circled up now. Miara, you make note of like they're the ones that had followed you, like they're talking to some of the like random guards that are standing around. But they seem to be relaying some form of information. But they've remained. But yeah, so you're back at the tent. What would you like to do?
We need to discuss
There
our
we go.
exit strategy, guys.
Yes, especially the question of why don't we just exit? There's nothing keeping us here, and I think we're close enough to the spine.
If we can safely do so, I am all for it. I would just prefer we don't provide them with an immediate means of attacking the Knoll civilization. I understand they're demonic creatures. I just... Something doesn't sit right with me about wiping out an entire people.
I agree with Darien, because also we don't know what the hobgoblins will do once they've vanquished the gnolls.
Exactly.
They could come after Erdrick right after that. They could cross the spine and wreak havoc across there. Leaving them with control of such a beast or even a weapon of mass destruction doesn't bode well for the rest of the world.
Oh no, I certainly don't approve of leaving them with any kind of control over this thing. So how do we stop them now that they have the means to communicate with it?
Hathol, you said something about a challenge system, correct? Amongst their society for leadership in the Sept?
Yes, indeed. I mean, I don't necessarily feel it will help us stop their plans to control this elemental, but it could provide us maybe a distraction worthy of escape.
That's
if
what
indeed
I
we
was
needed.
thinking.
So if we could find an eligible young hobgoblin from one of the tribes, he would have the right to challenge the Sept leader from any of the other Septs. We'd just have to convince him to do so.
What are the rules of the challenge?
So Hathol, we haven't talked about this, but you know a little bit about what the rules are because you've probably been to like one of their festivals of war or something like that. The rule is any hobgoblin can challenge a sept leader for control of that particular sept. Generally, champions of battle or something like that will feel like they have the right to do so and things like that. Generally, the hobgoblins won't just like go do the thing, right? Because they won't earn the respect of their fellow people. Normally, it's those that have been to the desolation, have fought many gnolls and like come out victorious, that kind of thing. But they can challenge. The challenge doesn't necessarily have to end in death, but it will. Whoever the victor is, it will be judged by the other sept leaders and the druids.
So any of them. Oh, I remember when we were in the desert with the other sept, which I don't remember the name now.
Sun Scouts?
Yep,
Yeah,
Sun Scouts.
Sealy sept. So there were the ones who were wearing like more drab clothing that you said were ineligible to challenge. But other than those ones,
no, there are, so as part of like these septs and things, they have like quote unquote servants, and they are ineligible.
Okay.
Those are the ones that have either been disgraced in some way or have during the fights with in between septs have been captured, and they're essentially prisoners of war.
Yeah.
And they serve a set amount of time as these servants for their disgrace.
So the thoughts I had, and correct me if he wouldn't be eligible, but I seem to have some kind of a rapport going on with the guard. Was his name Amsag?
Yeah, I mean, you can go to talk to Amsug if you wanted.
Might be able to like plant a seed of dissent in his brain somehow.
You can certainly try.
So that's an option that we have. guys.
Hmm.
With Amsak, the goal, not the goal, but the idea I'd had would be to try and plant a seed that he might challenge. And I forget again. My notes were not very good last week, but there was a Sept leader present when Ignas was looking at the relic.
I think I wrote down
Lith?
his name.
Was that Lith?
Yeah, it was lit.
Lith. She is the Sept leader of the Shifting Sands.
Okay, yeah. And she seemed kind of I don't know, salty towards Ital, and I thought maybe
You remember she did oppose Ital for the decision. Yes.
so. Yeah, I wondered if we might be able to convince Amzag one way or the other. So that's an option that we have. I can talk to him if we decide we want to try that option.
Yes.
Or
Well,
if he's not willing, ask him who might be.
I think involving more people in the discussion exposes us to great risk.
Yeah, but I don't feel we should abandon that avenue if he alone isn't willing to do it. If he knows of someone who is disgruntled against Ital.
Yeah, the problem we have is if he isn't on board, we then risk him telling someone that we've even approached him with the idea.
Then I think there are
certainly.
a couple things that we have to try to I hate to say this, deceive everyone. With Errol now in amongst us, we might be able to use her celestial presence as potentially an omen to the hobgoblins that death may be among them if they try to challenge the gnolls at this point in time. I mean,
Also
she
a
is a
good idea.
messenger of death.
So the initial issue that I have with that is, first of all, Arel already made it clear that she really doesn't care what happens to the gnolls because they're evil creatures anyway. And like she expressed last week, like, why even get involved? If they're gonna get wiped out, they're gonna get wiped out. It's almost irrelevant to her.
Yes, but would she help you if you asked?
Errol is sitting right next to you, by the way. She's been there the entire time.
Oh, well.
And she goes, Hathol has summoned me to serve. I will do what he asks, as annoying as it is.
I do apologize, Lady Errol.
Speaking as if she's not there. She's there.
Because the people that we know who are against waiting to challenge the hobgoblins are Ishikel and Zaba and Ital. They're in a much hurry to wipe out the gnolls as quickly as possible. I think, if anything, if we were to get someone to challenge one of those three for their position, especially, it seemed that Zaba was one of the younger ones and a little bit more quick-tempered than the rest of the Sept. If we had someone to challenge for her position, I'm sure that she would accept the challenge, thinking that she was probably superior than the others. It could be a pride thing. But I do think we need to... It's not just one solution. I think we do need to set some sort of plan together to make this work. Have the hobgoblins believe that they are in danger if they were to challenge the gnolls now. And then also this challenge that occurs would give us an opportunity to give us what we need.
I have an idea that might push Ital to accept any challenge. So far this week, we haven't been able to have much time with the orb. And Ital had asked me, or at least had asked, I'm not even sure with her, to, I don't even remember, to investigate the orb for the potential of using it to create more constructs. I haven't been able to do that because of the presence of the other septs. I can at least tell her of that and let her know that the other septs don't approve of her unilaterally getting these weapons of war, especially since I'm, apparently just making them for her and not for anyone else. I have a feeling that would stoke her temper, so to say. And then if someone were to challenge her, she would be more likely to accept, I think.
I am not super into antagonizing these people, but if we do cause dissension among the, I mean, they already don't listen to one another.
Exactly, they're already divided.
So I just don't want to do anything that puts the party in danger, my lord, especially you, seeing as your only other successor is your sister. And
oh no, you don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. I know. Well, if we do convince Ital that it's not our fault that we haven't suddenly magicked up an army of constructs for her, but rather the other septs that have been getting in our way, then her ire should be on them rather than us. And besides Ital, I don't feel any of the other septs really care that we're here one way or the other. The only thing that might change that is if they find out that we've gone behind their back to convince the city to not help them, or to walk into the ocean, perhaps. That would get them upset at us. But only if they find out.
Darien, I think yours and my top priority also at this moment would be that Ignas and Tassir get out of this city safely. Whatever can possibly happen to us, as long as they get out safely, and you want to also stop the hobgoblins from doing what they wish to do with the orb.
Oh, certainly. That's a powerful weapon in their hands, potentially.
Exactly. I think we each have a position in here to potentially get this to work. If you are able to convince Ital, if we are able to convince Ital, or convince someone to challenge Ital or Zaba or Ishikil for the challenge, we have someone do that. Hathol, you are more likely to, you're easier to converse with the hobgoblins, but Darien, you have such a persuasive personality that you could probably convince them to go through with it. I do move a little bit more agile and stealthy than the others. When the ruckus is around, I could possibly grab the orb. And Ignis and Tassir, along with Balmiar for extra protection, could wait by the exit for us to meet up, and collectively we can all get together. After a set amount of time, if myself, Hathol, or Darien do not approach, you three leave.
Sounds horrible, but it also sounds like it might work.
It's definitely time to consider, setting whatever in motion for us to leave as quickly as possible.
We all have our strength.
Ignis, I believe that your mind should be focused primarily on figuring out how you get your metal monstrosity off this thing as quickly as possible.
Oh, I haven't stopped thinking about it since I unfolded it. In fact, I kind of regret doing that now, but what can I say? Boyish enthusiasm.
It's
all
all right.
show off.
All right.
We've already established the fact that it's too big to use the scaffolding that they built. Yes.
You have not.
No, did we not? Did we not discuss that?
Nope.
We haven't even attempted anything yet.
We've seen that scaffolding. Did it look big enough to hold
It looks wide enough to carry or to have camels and other beasts of burden to wander inside.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if it can carry a
15
camel,
feet tall.
it can duck. If it can carry a camel, I feel laden down with rope, I think it can carry. I think it can carry Rexy.
So that might make getting Rexy off easier if it is indeed capable of. How much more than a camel does Rexy weigh, though? That's the problem.
He is made of metal.
Laden with rope. Keep in mind.
I can't believe I have to look this stuff up. This is
I can't
the
believe
worst.
I'm living it.
Agreed.
good question, you know?
Of course, it doesn't give me a weight. Why would it? It's considered large, which a camel is also considered large. Weight-wise, I mean, it's gonna be stupid heavy. But there's no definition for it. I'd literally have to do math, and I don't feel like it.
Well,
So-
can we just say that it's the equivalent of a camel laden down with rope?
Sure.
Thank you. Just for the sake of simplicity.
Simplicity, yeah.
Hashtag jerry-rigged.
Why not?
Guy makes a robot dinosaur and then wants something simple.
Yeah,
Robot dinosaur with disco eyes. Whatever.
Yes.
Whatever. Season finale. Ask for everything.
I just want to point out, Ignas, if you were going to add a disco mode, why didn't you just install one of your little magic music boxes in it?
You know, I considered that, but then I would have to delve into the guts of it to repair it every day, and I thought, nah, that's too much trouble.
Too much trouble, he says, with his robot dinosaur.
Yep. Okay, so you guys kind of have a plan of what you would like to do. What are you gonna do to execute on it?
All right. Well,
We're gonna try.
I think Darien and I should talk to Hathol.
No. You should not talk to Hathol ever.
No.
Well, I
Just-
can
Ignis
assist.
can be present.
I can
but-
assist. I can assist and BS. Let's see. Miera should definitely scout the tent and see what kind of obstacles might present themselves in retrieving the orb.
Mhm.
And Hathol should find the guard, whose name I forget. Help me out.
Amsug?
Amsug?
Amsug, thank you. Should find Amsug and talk to him.
Zug zug.
Just take
More work.
one weight off of all your minds.
Yes.
Don't worry too much about the orb. I got that under control.
When you
It's
say
okay.
shit like that, it makes me feel like something horrible is gonna happen.
No.
Look,
It's
Welcome to
all
my
under-
everyday, Darien.
All under control.
Hathol,
Every time
we
you say
all
it, I
contribute to
believe
this
it
party,
less.
whether you like it or not. Your position
What?
in this situation should be to talk to the hobgoblins, considering you're the only one that can speak to them in their native language. I'll take care of the orb.
Miara, you're being very, very stern today.
Look, I'm just trying to see that we can all survive. If we work
Okay.
together, we can all do this.
I plan on working together, don't worry.
All
Let's
right.
just say, Miara, I'll assist you with the orb. But I will talk to the hobgoblins regardless.
All right. Sounds like we have a plan. Let's execute
So
it.
what am I to tell Ital?
Tell her that we attempted to research the orb to see if we could use it to empower the constructs or aid in a faster method of construction. The other septs were
Prevented us from doing it.
prevented us from doing it. They said that they did not approve of her having access to the constructs or her sept. And we simply are not able to accomplish what she intended here. And if she asks how we could, we can always tell her that we have the means and the methods in Erdrick, which is unfortunately lost to us currently, and we are currently trying to regain it.
Okay.
Technically, all of this is true.
Okay.
Which is the best kind of
and
truth.
yeah, so Darien and Ignis they head off to find Ital. Miara, you go to scout out the location that the orb is being held, and Hathol, you try to go find Umsug. I think we'll start with Hathol. You can just ask around essentially, and some of the guards, and they'll point you off in the direction of Umsug. He seems to be on some kind of break. He's got a whetstone out. He's sitting on a little rock, and he seems to be sharpening his javelins. And he does notice you as you approach. We see him again. He's short, stocky. He's got this short black mohawk, but his eyes seem like soft. It seems like he's always considering something. But you do approach him, and he stands and extends an arm to you to greet you. And he says, "Hathol, good to see you."
Likewise, Samsa. How do you fare today?
He looks down at his javelins in the pile on the ground. He says, "I become bored with standing in the city with not much to kill. These, you make them so sharp, and then you have nothing to put them in. A waste."
Yes, a warrior with nothing to stab it's a sad thing to see.
Yeah, he bursts out laughing like you said the most hilarious thing.
Well, I am a funny guy. So, Amsag, I noticed something kind of disturbing the other day. With it seems Lith and the Shifting Sands seem very opposed to the Two Stones and their ideals. Like, how do you feel about that?
He kind of cocks his head and raises his eyebrows. "Oh, I do not understand, Hathol. What do you mean? The Shifting Sands and... We are warrior people, and occasionally we do fight, but our ultimate goal is to defend from the desolation and the gnolls. What do you mean we differ?"
How far do you feel you should go to defend from the gnolls?
He shrugs. He says, "Itol, my sept leader, she seems to want them destroyed, wiped from the face of the planet, and I can't say I disagree, but I am a warrior, and with nothing to kill, we will just turn to killing each other. It's good to have a common enemy, at least for some of the seasons."
I see. It seems to me like Lith's... what's the word I'm looking for here? Resolve is fading as far as destruction of the gnolls go.
How do you know this?
Just from observing, listening to what she was saying the other day.
Leith is one of the most respected sept leaders, and the elder of all of the other leaders. She is wise. She would have good reason.
Hathel's now internalizing. This seems to be the wrong person to try and convince to challenge Lith.
Maybe you should try to convince him to challenge someone else.
I thought we were going to challenge Ital.
That's what I thought.
He is a part of the Two Stone, right? He can't challenge his own sept leader, no? I thought it was only challenge. Oh, really? Oh, the
rights of challenge. Yeah, the rights of challenge apply, and it doesn't have to be sept leaders. Generally, sept leaders are challenged for their position, but any warrior could challenge another.
Okay, that's different to what
I'm pretty sure that's how I had it written, but I'm sorry if it's not.
Yeah, no. When we discussed it, it was literally a hobgoblin can challenge the leader of another sept.
Yeah, they can.
Right. I didn't realize we never expanded on it, so I didn't know there was.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because to challenge Ital made more sense, but
Yeah.
no, my
Especially how he's
conversation.
talking too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Can we do a breakaway to a different character for a bit while I consider my
Sure.
my options here?
We head to we cut away to Miera. Miera,
Let's go.
You're making your way into the with I assume with Balamiar. Who's watching Lady Tassir?
Balmiar. I'm gonna
Okay, you left them at the tent?
I left them at the tent. Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
No.
Yeah, so you're making your way into the last known location of where they're like holding the orb, which is in the ruined city, which you see now as all of the Two Stone Sept is basically getting settled in here. They've taken up the work and the mantle that the warriors were doing previously, and they seem to be reconstructing the city for permanent usage. Yeah, but you go to the building where you last know that the orb is at. You see that there's hobgoblins all around, walking up and down, some carrying water, food, goods, stone. You see some posted up, scouts or guards, kind of either on the roofs, kind of just watching, or by the door. There seems to be two by the door of the building itself. What would you like to do?
Well, first off, I'd like to roll an investigation, check and see if I can get a lay of the land, see if or at least figure out maybe potential openings and stuff of where I might be able to get through.
Openings of the building or openings between?
Well, where's the orb? Do I know where they're holding the orb exactly? Or can I?
The last known location for you is in this particular building.
In this particular building, okay.
Yeah, you're walking down the main thoroughfare, and you know, like, okay, this building looks to be relatively well guarded. This is the last location that you knew that they were keeping it. So that's what you know about the building itself.
Okay.
Or the location, excuse me.
And the condition of this building, it's being reconstructed. You said, right?
Yeah, this one it looks like it had been reconstructed more quickly than the ones around it for, whatever particular reason, holding this orb. It doesn't seem to have a door. They still seem to be using one of the like tent claws of some kind as like a curtain in front. But that's what you can see from here.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna do like a perimeter check as well and see or check the surroundings of the building and see structurally if there are any other entry points.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's easy enough for you to like walk around the building and see if there's a way in. There's a back door, seemingly covered with one of these tent flaps as well. Mm-hmm. It has two guards sitting next to it at this point in time. But there seems to be only these two openings to the building itself. It looks like the holes that had been previously there have been repaired. There are some windows. You see probably about 3, but they're not really functioning as windows. They're just covered with the tarps at this point. One of them is open and you can see inside, but when you look inside, you see that there are like 6 druids surrounding the orb as it sits in like the little metal brazier that we had discussed, previously in a different episode. And there are 3 hobgoblin scout guards that are also inside.
Okay. Any of the druids look familiar, or are they different than previous druids?
They're not. I don't think any of them are ones you have specifically talked to.
Okay.
If that makes a difference.
Yeah. Okay. Now, and you said there are also hobgoblins up on the roofs of these buildings, right?
Yeah, you take a walk around, and when you finish your thing, you see there's probably about 2 on the roof. There's 2 at the front door, 2 at the back, and 3 inside that you would call either scouts or guards. Gotcha. And then there are 6 druids currently in the building. Gotcha.
I think kind of just taking mental note of the people that are around at this time. See what I can do. Well, like I'll come back like at a later point in time, because I don't think we are going to see a challenge to like on this particular day.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to get a lay of the land.
Yeah, you're getting a lay of the land. The city is buzzing at this point, right? Like,
yeah.
It seems that the entirety of the Two Stone Sept is making their way in here, and you're looking around, and it's multiple thousands of them. There seems to be other portions of the Sept that are not just the war party, but there are other warriors that have arrived. It seems that the entirety of the Sept has arrived, and it is quite a great amount of them.
Okay, excellent. Cool. I think after a good look and after a take and
you've gotten a good lay of the land.
At least for this time of day.
Sure.
Because I'll probably come back later in the evening and then earlier in the morning as well.
Were you trying to do this stealthily, or was this you're just wandering around the building?
Well, as you said, there are like thousands of people kind of like walking around
Like,
this
yeah,
area.
on the main thoroughfare, there's definitely busyness and stuff like that. But like, if you go down an alley, like there's less people. If you go
Yeah.
around the backside, it's gonna be different. I'm just wondering, like, are you just walking around the building, like right up next to it, like you give a handshake to the guards out front, or like are you maybe 30 feet back and trying to post up places and take a look and be unobtrusive?
I think when I'm in the crowds, I'm kind of just blending in with the crowd as they're walking
Okay.
by. But when I get into, if I run into a guard, I'm not being like stealthy about it. I'm just saying like I'll be as if a person just kind of taking a stroll through the city. I think that my presence is known, but my intentions aren't.
Your presence is known as your intentions are, but you're spending a good bit of time around this particular building.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Let's. I'm just gonna do a thing.
Okay.
Okay. Wow, that's an interesting role. Yeah. I mean, the ones that you do come into contact with are that, like, you see some of the hobgoblins definitely take a look at you, especially the guards, because you stand out. You're not a hobgoblin.
Yeah.
You're an elven woman with red hair and wandering around with weapons. Like you stand out. But they just kind of look at you, and you kind of walk around, and you make it look like you're trying to take in the sights of the city while still doing this. Make me this is just going to be a stealth check. This isn't necessarily you being quiet. I just want to see how unobtrusive you're being.
20.
20? Yeah. So they definitely look at you and they're like, what is this weird elf woman doing? She's not making any trouble. I suppose it's okay. So none of them seem to approach you in anything.
Okay.
But you do get the lay of the land. Yep.
Cool. Excellent. And then after a little bit of time, I'll probably just head back to the camp.
Okay.
Wait for everybody else to let them know what I saw.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you do that, and then we cut over after you we see you. We get the camera look, and you like peek inside, but they don't seem to take any notice of you, and you make your way back to the camp. We jump over to Darien and Ignas. You find Hathol in the main square. You remember previously there was like a large well that was in the square here. She seems to be giving orders around. There's like we were just describing, there are like thousands of hobgoblins that have now populating the city and gotten to work, and there's more warriors and scouts here, and she seems to be commanding them. But you see her doing so, and she's speaking to some scouts, and then she has them, they go away, and she's just observing the area as you approach her.
Hathol, may I have a moment?
She looks at you, and she looks down and sees Ignas and goes, Paladin, what may I do for you?
We ran into a bit of a disagreement with one of the other SEP leaders. We had tried to work with the druids, and it was, Joel, remind me, it was Lith, right? Was who we
Yes.
spoke with? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And SEP leader Lith was there, and she didn't necessarily. I don't know how your people handle disagreements or agreements over who has control of what. She was not happy that we were working with your interest in mind, and we weren't able to get any work done.
She looks at you and says, does she know of what I asked?
She does, yes.
She kind of she says something under her breath in Hobgoblin.
How much did we say last time? I cannot remember how much.
You let her know
she
that
gave
you-
away.
To Lith?
I said enough.
You told her everything.
Okay.
Yeah. She says something under her breath in Hobgoblin and rather angrily, and she looks back at you and says, why would you? You said you were going to go see if this would help build these creatures to help us fight the gnolls, and yet you go tell Lith.
Right, I had assumed that it was on behalf of the entire Hobgoblin people. You would be fighting the gnolls together, so these constructs would be working with all of you. Yes.
I had desired them for personal use, but yes, it's fine. She disagreed. Why?
She doesn't believe that you have any right to say who does what with the orb.
I suppose I should have a talk with Leith then. I appreciate this information. Thank you. And she turns around and she walks away.
I apologize that we couldn't do anything further.
Yeah, she's ignoring you at this point. She's heading off to go find Lith.
I'll
look up at Darien.
I'll turn. Okay.
And say, well, that could have gone worse.
Well, my lord, maybe it was learning a little bit from watching you, but I knew it would cause discourse. There was a reason I was being as open as I was.
A little discord never hurt anyone. Right up until the spears come out.
Yes, well, they won't be aimed at us, given the nature of the disagreement. So,
And that is the goal.
yeah. Well, it seems that we've done our part in sowing the seeds of dissension. How should we proceed now?
We should ensure that Rexy can, in fact, fit on that walkway, and also measure how long it's going to take us to get to the walkway, because I have a feeling that if the worst case scenario that I can imagine happens, and civil war breaks out amongst the hobgoblin tribes in the city of Adis, we're going to have to make a run for it. Because we don't want to be in the middle of that.
Well, then I suppose we should go take a look at the scaffolding.
Yes, and hopefully not get several spears pointed at me. I cannot believe they didn't want to dance along. Why do I put these features in if no one's going to enjoy them?
My lord, maybe you're performing for the wrong crowd.
Yeah, I suppose so. Oh well, let's go.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys make your way towards, I guess, the front of the city again? Back where the cave entrance is?
Yeah.
All right, so while you're walking, we jump back over to Hathol and Umsug. Hathol, have you figured out what you would like to say to him?
You're still muted.
I totally didn't mute myself to yell at my kids.
Okay.
Me neither, dude.
Same.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna try my best.
You got this. I believe in you.
I'm just gonna be quiet for a few minutes. Just try and let the awkward conversation we had about Lith just drift into the background for a few minutes. Just sit with him.
Oh, you just sit with him. Okay, so
Yeah,
he sits
yeah.
down. Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, hobgoblin conversation between warriors is you know, silence is nothing, right? He just gets back to work. He's sharpening his blades.
And then when I feel an appropriate amount of time has passed to start on a different tack with my conversation here.
Sure, you've just been sitting and just listening to everything around you, listening to the scraping of the blade against the whetstone, and just taking in the sight as you sit there. You are the only person that can feel this, but you do feel that Errol she's in her normal invisible form and just sitting on your shoulder, kind of just leaning on you, and you're just sitting and watching how this tent city is abuzz with new people. You watch as some of the hobgoblins around you greet old friends, other warriors from the tribe, that kind of thing. And yeah, you wait maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Amsug, I just wondered, has Ital ever been challenged for her leadership of the Two Stones?
He looks up at you
with a very innocent look on my face.
Sure. He looks up at you and he smiles a big smile and he goes, she has. She's a powerful warrior. Many would be a fool to challenge her.
Would you be a fool to challenge her?
He like again, he laughs like it's the funniest thing that you've ever said. Oh, Hathol. Oh, my, you are so funny, my friend. I appreciate these talks that we do have. Would I be a fool to challenge you? I would be, but it would be quite the fight. I wonder if I could beat her. Maybe I will challenge her. Next Festival of Kyr. This is an interesting idea, my friend. It would be quite the joke to have with my friends.
Amsag, why wait, my friend?
He looks at you and like
have just gathered. Give them a show.
he's smiling at you. He goes, Hathol. You do not know, but the Festival of Kyr is sacred for the challenging of the rights. We do not. This spectacle must be in front of all of the septs. I must challenge in front of all of them. Just having the leaders here is not enough.
There's, never a better time
he
to
claps
start
you
a
back.
new
He claps you on the
tradition.
back. He goes, but what a thought. Me, Umsug, leader of the Two Stones. People would look up to me then. And then he slaps his leg and goes laughing again.
Amsag, people already look up to you. I can sense this. You have what it takes.
He looks up to you while you're sitting, 'cause he's shorter than you. And he goes, oh, Hathol, you are so funny. You are so funny.
I'm not joking. This guy loves me, but it's not going the way I want it to.
You got
Yeah,
this.
you seem to be having some miscommunication here, but let's see what you make your persuasion, right? Ask him what you want to ask him. Let's do this right now.
Amsag, I strongly feel the Two Stones need new leadership now. Ital seems to be losing it right now, and I think you're the guy for the job, but maybe it's time for a new tradition. Maybe it's time for a fresh challenge.
He puts the javelin down and he looks at you, actually considering what you're saying. He goes, Ital has reclaimed the city of Adis as legend had told. It is now the wandering city again, and this is due to mostly you, but Ital as well, and we have secured the city. This is... I may not agree with everything that Ital has to say, but... Well, roll your persuasion.
It's here somewhere. Oh, God.
For chat, that's a 9 for persuasion roll. He looks and he goes, well, as much as I would love to be walking out on the sands and challenging the desolation head on, it is good that we have done this. Ital is a good leader, hot-headed, stubborn, but look at what she's done for us. I may challenge her at the Festival of Kyr, if only for a show. It is a good idea to test my skills, but I don't think I shall challenge her for the right.
Amsag, I'd like you to meet a friend of mine.
He cocks his head and goes, what do you mean? And then you just, so Errol, you want Errol to appear?
Oh, yeah.
Fairy godparents.
Where does she, yeah, fairy godparents. Where does she appear? Where do you have her come back?
Literally in front of his face.
So he's sitting there looking at you, and you have her right into existence in front of her. She's standing there in her armor, and she's shining a little bit. He jolts backwards. This startles him completely. He goes, oh, Hathol, what is this? What is the meaning of this?
Relax. This is
he's got immediately his knife is out.
She's a friend, Amsag. This is Arl de Serafina.
He looks and he puts the blade away and looks at you questioningly and then sits forward again. And he pokes a finger out at her. And Errol slaps his finger when he gets close enough and goes, that's very rude of you. And he goes, oh, it speaks. It is real? I thought it was another one of your sorcerer tricks. Is real. Unless you have learned new tricks, my friend. And he smiles.
Oh, I've learned many new tricks, Amsag. Look at my staff!
You make it light up again?
Of course!
He looks at it and goes, oh, that is interesting. I suppose you don't need torches now, but... He looks back and he's focused on Errol. Huh. A tiny little winged woman. Interesting. You see that now the commotion has drawn attention from some of the other hobgoblins around, and they've come and they're looking at Errol floating in the air in front of Umsug and are muttering to each other. Some of it is what you can't hear, but what you can perceive is a little bit of awe. Some mention of, like, there's some fear that you can hear in some of the voices as they approach. You've probably got like a crowd of about 5 or 6 right now that have approached the area and are looking at Errol. And Umsug looks at her and, what are you? Hathol, what is this?
Errol, you can speak for yourself.
Yes, I will. I am Errol de Serafina. I am an emissary of the aspect of death. And he looks at her and goes, that's right. Incredible. Now why are you here with this big joke of a man? And she looks at him and goes, well, he summoned me. He pulled me from the stars above, and now I am here. Interesting, Hathol. This is interesting. She is truly an emissary. Have you shown any of the sept leaders this? This is incredible.
Now trying to think back, I don't think I've met a sept leader since Errol's been around.
Nope.
No.
One guard, I think, has seen her.
Yeah.
And you hear behind you, like, one of them, like, lean over and be like, I think this is what Eldorau had mentioned. I thought him crazy. Too much to drink. And then they're just, like, shaking their heads, and she just floats there, and she's, Hathol, is there anything else you'd like me to do?
Errol here agrees with me, don't you, Errol? That now would be a good time for a leadership challenge.
She kind of rolls her eyes a little bit and she says, Hathol, I agree with you because you summoned me here.
God damn. Play the game, woman!
And she kind of like sees your eyes widen a little bit. She goes, oh, yes.
Come on!
I am an omen of death, and my appearance here is directly related to you challenging for the... she looks over... Two Stones sept leadership. And she like spins out her scythe, flourishing it. And Umsa goes, oh! Incredible. This little winged woman wants me to challenge for sept leadership. And he laughs out loud, and the ones gathered around laugh as well. Now why would death want me to challenge? And Errol like looks at you and goes, it is death's wish that the Knoll population continue to exist so that the septs may find glory in battle for many years to come. And he goes, she makes a good point.
Remember, Amsag, a warrior without an enemy.
Find Errol's sheet, because you have it.
Yep.
Have her make a persuasion roll. Ooh. It is a charisma roll.
Come on, Errol.
I actually don't even know what her sheet looks like at this point. Let me see this.
Come on, Errol.
I made this too long ago. So she has, she's,
So
technically she should have more charisma. We used a base thing.
Does Hathol get the assist?
No, because he already made his roll, and his roll is very low, so I don't think she gets advantage on this.
So I'm just straight rolling her charisma, yeah?
Yep, just roll a charisma.
Come on, baby.
Whoo! How? Oh, sorry.
You did it like a million.
You did it like a million times.
It didn't come up when I clicked it first time, so I did it 2 more. But
And then you crit failed, so stop.
So the first one was a 19. So it seems that Umsug is like taken with her and seems just hanging on every word that she has to say, even as uncomfortable as it seems. And he goes, Lord Death wills it. He looks up to like his brothers in arms, brothers and sisters, and I was, if Lord Death wills it. And they like cheer. You see now like 20 of these hobgoblin warriors have like gathered around this tiny little glowing angel woman, and they cheer for what sounds like Umsug is going to challenge Ital for leadership of the Sept. He stands and he gathers his freshly sharpened javelins, and he says, "If Lord Death wills it, Hathol, let us go challenge for the right of the two-stone sept." And like everyone's cheering and there's smiles, and he gets up and he goes to find Ital. Do you guys follow?
I'm gonna go with him, yeah, for sure.
All right, so yeah, you guys get up, and like this group now has like it's gathered, and they seem to be chanting something in Hobgoblin. You recognize it as basically it's a war chant. It's a chant for battle. And they are marching towards the main city center where originally Ital had been. So you guys are going, and a larger crowd gathers. Like the entirety of the two-stone sept is here now, right? So there's women and children and older hobgoblins and warriors from different areas of the two-stone sept, and you guys are heading towards the center with you and Umsug at the head, with this tiny little angel woman just floating in the air, and still your light cantrip on your staff, so you're glowing as well.
Because why not? Would Darien and Ignas have noticed this, like on their way back?
You're noticing the approach now. Yeah, so this is like all happening simultaneously, right? We may have jumped from Hathol, but that is happening simultaneously as your conversation with Ital. Ital is like walked away. She's out of the area now. But as you turn to like go back, and you're like, well, that went as well as it could have, I guess. You notice walking down the main thoroughfare, this just gathering of people with Hathol at its head, Errol in the open, and a shorter, like thick, tattooed hobgoblin with this mohawk, just marching at the head of this group of hobgoblin warriors.
We'll just turn to Darien and say, "What did Hathol do?"
I honestly can't even keep track of this anymore.
Can I see?
Basically, sorry, Darien is basically Hawkeye in Age of Ultron. Like, none of this makes sense. I'm just going with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, have we met up yet? Like, can I see Darien and Ignis at this point, or are we still like a ways away from each other?
I mean, you're approaching now. Like they're still by the well, right where Ital was, but you're approaching, and you're like 50 feet away. Now you're 40 feet away. Now you're 30 feet. Like you're coming up towards them, and it seems that Umsug is like riling the crowd behind him, and they're doing this chant. Miara, you would have seen this march happen as well while you're like heading back to the tent or whatever. So you're more than welcome to be here for this, right? You're not just left out. Yeah, so Hathol, you approach and you see Umsug like riling a crowd, and an even larger crowd is gathering. So you're all back together currently.
Friends, now is the time. This is the ultimate distraction.
Is it though?
Why?
Well,
Hold on. Let's wait this out a little bit.
We cannot be seen as being the driving force behind this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you might want to put the staff out.
All right. In that case,
Roll of the eyes.
Oh God. This is a disaster.
Hold on, we can
Darien
recover from this.
The question I was going to ask, Miara, what's the situation like at the tent? What kind of opposition can we expect?
It's heavily guarded. There are two entrances, one in the front, one in the back, each guarded with each with two guards. And on the roofs surrounding the building, there are several archers, possibly scouts, possibly guards as well. and inside there were the druids that were running a circle. None that I was familiar with. There are a couple windows that seem just to be covered with tarp right now, but they could be possibly a way of entry. I might be able to get through.
What you're telling me is that it's still guarded, and unless some of those guards decide to leave and attend this challenge, then we are probably going to be found out if we attempt to do what we were planning to do.
Possibly. I might have an idea, though, but I'd rather not discuss it out here with everyone around.
Well, let's just hang back and let the crowd pass, because they seem to be very riled up.
Yeah, so it looks like now that the warriors, like, as they're doing this chant, it's transitioned. Hathol, you understand it to be like this is a preparation thing for a challenge, like for a right challenge. And they're like stomping out essentially a circle next to this large well in the center of the city. So they're like imprinting in and you know, like bashing their javelins against their bucklers and doing this chant or whatever. And like a whole conglomeration has come together. Some of the older warriors have joined in on the chanting and things like that. So it's become an absolute spectacle.
I suggest we retire to our tent for now, just to distance ourselves from this rabble. And then we can decide our next steps.
Really quick, to the DM, would the building that the orb is in place be in view of where we are right now, or is it like
No.
Okay, it's scattered within the city.
No.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
So
I think
Yeah,
that's a
no,
good idea.
it's like down towards the tent city. Like if you go that direction past where the center is, and then it's like off on the left a little bit. So I mean, it's the size of the city. I mean, you're like 3 to 4 blocks.
Gotcha.
All right. If the challenge, if that whoever it was, and I do remember his name, I'm just saying, if Umsug makes the challenge now, does it happen right now, or is there like rituals that need to be put in place before it happens?
The circle that's formed around the well tells me that they're expecting a fight right now.
Because if that's the case, we could go to the tent and tell the guards that there's a challenge.
We don't know that the guards haven't figured it out and already left. The
And
orb
if they
could be
have,
completely
then all the better
unguarded.
for us.
I think what's more important right now is that you, Balmyar, Tasir, and Rexy get to the entrance as soon as possible. The rest of us can handle it right over here, everything over here, I think, for right now.
Keep in mind, the tent where Balmiar and Tasir and I assume Rexy are still stationed is like a 10-minute walk away from you.
Right.
You got some distance to cover.
Yeah, I suggest we hustle to that tent as quickly as possible.
Because we need to
Get
get you
all of us into
safe.
one place.
So here's what I propose. Aside from the child bouncing in the background.
It's Tasir.
Miara, go to the tent where the orb is being held. Tell us if the situation has changed. See if the situation has changed. If it hasn't, see if you can convince the guards and the druids to attend the challenge. And if you can, take the orb, get away. And let us know that you've done it with ascending stones. If you can't get them to leave, let us know with ascending stones and we can come up with a plan from there.
Okay, first of all, I should definitely go with Miara because the likelihood of her being able to communicate with the druids and the guards is very slim.
This is a good point.
Yes.
Right now, our priority should just be to get back to the tent where Balmiar and Tasir is ASAP, ensure their safety, and you guys get out of the city quickly while Miara and I take care of
Retrieve
the
the
orb.
orb.
So let's go to
you
the
want-
tent like now.
Yes.
All right, and we can start walking and talking at the same time. You really feel
Sure.
confident that
As you guys turn away, Umsug yells out from the crowd towards Hathol in Hobgoblin and says, Hathol, come watch my victory. Bring my omen with you, my tiny little death omen. And he like just slams his buckler and his spear together, and he's like riling the crowd.
I'll
Well,
be there in a minute.
You can
best
always
laid
send
plans
her
of
over there.
hobgoblins and gnomes.
Hathol, you have you can speak mentally through Arrow, right?
I can listen mentally through Owl, and I can speak physically through Owl.
Have her wait by the challenge and see what comes up over here. She can scout out while we make our way to the orb. That way, he
She's-
still at least gets his
Right, she's still visible, right?
audience.
Yeah, you can talk
Is she
to
still
her.
is she hanging out with you? Like, where is she?
Yeah. So she's still floating around my head
I
somewhere.
always forget because I'm in the mindset of Beastmaster where she can't understand me constantly.
Sure.
So I'll address her and say, "Can you keep an eye on the challenge while we go? Let Hathol know what's going on over here."
She looks at you and then looks at Hathol and goes, Hathol?
Do it.
She nods and she like floats out above the crowd, like over the center of the circle. And you see like all these hobgoblins pointing, like little children like pointing up at it. And then and yeah, they're taken with this tiny little angel woman. And Umsug points up at her with his javelin and goes, "The aspect of death has willed it." And then and he continues to do the thing.
Quick question for the DM.
Yep.
So I know to like perceive through her senses and stuff, I need to go into a trance.
Yep.
Can I communicate telepathically with her just like willy-nilly, or does that need to be in a trance as well? Or is that like message kind of thing?
Whenever. It should be in your...
It sounds like it's like message.
Should have been added to your character sheet.
So this is the
As long as you're on the same plane of existence, you can communicate telepathically.
Okay.
So you could be on the other side of the planet,
Yeah.
which is pretty
Fine.
cool.
That's good. So Arel, keep me informed of any interesting things that happen.
She sends back to you and goes, "Well, I believe the champion has arrived." And at this point, you see like the sea of hobgoblins has like parted, and Ital is marching forward and approaches Umsug and goes, "What is the meaning of this?" And Umsug is just like, "I have been ordered by the aspect death to challenge you for a right to control the two stones." So, you guys stick around for this, or
Nope.
you making your way downtown
we're-
walking
no,
fast?
Ocean's 11ing it
We
right
run it
now.
I would
Back
really
to the tent.
to not.
All right. I think at this point we'll take our first break, and then we'll figure out what happens afterwards. The rite of challenge has been laid down, if somewhat a little awkwardly. We'll see how this goes when we get back. We're gonna take a short break now. So thank you guys for tuning into this, and we'll be right back with the season finale.